Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video. In today's video I'll be talking about the Denver Nuggets and why I believe they'll be alright without Jamal Murray to start the year, and then once he comes back they'll still be genuine contenders to make it out of the Western Conference. Without further ado, let's get started. So in the previous season the Denver Nuggets improved to a 47-25 record, which was good enough to be third in the Western Conference. Now it's worth noting that Jamal Murray went down, but surprisingly, the Denver Nuggets were okay without Jamal Murray, as directly after he went out injured, they won 13 of the next 18 games, and overall, throughout the whole of last season without Jamal Murray, they were 16-8, which is a win percentage of 66, which is actually better than their full win percentage on their record. So I still think they'll be okay without Jamal Murray. But when it comes playoffs time, I think we even saw it personally ourselves. They can make it out of the first round without him, but then, their ability to beat the better teams kind of fades away, obviously, and you'd want him back. And obviously, they're trying really hard to, get him back, and I think that he will make a return. I think it was January, a whole year from then. I think he'll be back for the playoffs for sure. But the Denver Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic again, he won an MVP in, historic year, and very, great to see him win, especially when him getting drafted had an ad of a bloody Taco Bell thing on it instead. But just a quick break, guys. I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week. You've seen the animation. I'd love it if you guys subscribe to join me on my journey. Don't forget to also like and comment how many games you think the Denver Nuggets will win, and if they'll be okay, or if they'll be treading water before Jamal Murray comes back. Now, this offseason was a rather quiet one with some minor changes occurring. Now, they probably would have liked to have signed a few more pieces that were a bit more significant. However, they signed Marcus Howard, Jeff Green from the Brooklyn Nets, who did play some, significant minutes in the playoffs and had some good games, especially, showing an ability to shoot and stretch the floor and also be a small ball center. Now, I don't think they'll do that with Jokic at the helm, but who knows. Now, Nahshon Highland was an interesting pick for them at 26. Coming out of VCU, he spent 2 years there. Now, in his last year, he averaged 19.5 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and then 45% from the field, 37 from 3, and then 86 from the free throw line. Now, he could be a bit of a nothing pick, but it's worth, noting the Denver Nuggets' ability to draft well. I think they got Nurkic pretty low in the draft. He ended up being a solid player, obviously not for them. Jokic, I don't need to say anything about that. Jamal Murray wasn't exactly, a really, really high, pick, and for the caliber of player they got back. And even Monte Morris and Malik Beasley, who's not there. But, the list goes on. I think that they did show an ability to draft well, and they'll be giving themselves a good chance with the kid out of Delaware. So they did let go of JaVale McGee, Austin Rivers, while Paul Millsap, was a free agent, and they didn't bring him back, and he made his way over to Brooklyn. It wasn't the biggest offseason for the Nuggets, but it puts them in a good position to run it back with some spots, addressing the strength and the strengths that they need to have when Jokic is on the floor, which is obviously most of the night. Now, as I said before, the Denver Nuggets are not giving up on Jamal Murray in terms of his recovery. They're very, confident in his ability to come back. And either way, without him, I kind of mentioned it before, I think they will be okay without him. And during the playoffs, he's a different kind of beast. He put up, he's had so many good performances, and, in that bubble, that one game where he put 42, 8, and 8 up, I believe, and he wheeled them over the line in that series. Really could have lost, I believe that Conley shot kind of rimmed in and out, but that was a good run for them, and obviously he showed what they can do, and that the team as a whole, the coaching schemes from Coach Malone, and you also have, Jokic, Murray, and, Porter Jr. has been pretty good. Now, last season for him, he was he was doing pretty decently up until February, averaging around 15 points. But then after, almost seemingly after a sustained period of time without Jamal Murray, he really got, into a rhythm. He averaged 22 points and 8 rebounds, and he was shooting ridiculous shooting splits with 47% from 3. Now, I just want to but I'll give you guys a couple of statistics. Now, out of all the top 10 small forwards in the league, so this includes the likes of Durant, Doncic, James, Tatum, George, Butler, Middleton, Brown, and Ingram. Michael Porter Jr. in their age 22 season has the highest 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, and also true shooting percentage. So he's an elite talent, and we just have to hope for the Denver Nuggets perspective that he stays out and is healthy, stays out in the court. Now, I believe that having persistence with Aaron Gordon is another key part. He can be a great replacement for Jeremy Grant, and they kind of got him at the deadline. So when all the pieces come together, I think the Nuggets can do something. Now, at this point in time, the starting five will be Monte Morris, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic. And with a bench of Aaron Gordon, Austin Rivers, and JaMychal Green, I think that this team can be very competitive. And I wouldn't put, and you have Campazzo and Dozier. I wouldn't put this team, I wouldn't count this team out. I think they're still going to be very competitive without Jokic. Maybe 50 wins for the season. But that does bring me to the end of the video, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.